My name is Stephen Darnell, and I did my research project on December 21st, 2012, Is It the End of Times? I am going to introduce you into the Mayan calendar and research on NASA's solar flares and an author, scientist, Lawrence Joseph, and how all three of these things pertain to the prophecies of 2012 Doomsday. Many of you may not understand how the Mayan calendar works or even know of its existence, but I'd like to share with you some information I found on it. As you're introduced here in the picture, it shows three cogs, which is an inner cog, an outer cog, and a long count cog on the outside, which represents the 365 days of the year. The significance of the Mayan calendar is that when these three inner connectors connect into a straight line, it will be the Earth will be exactly in the middle of the Milky Way, along line with the Sun. And the thing is with this is it hasn't happened in over 3,000 years. And the thing of difference is about today's times is it could affect the Earth's atmosphere or the gravitational pull of the axis of the way the gravitational pull is with the Earth. It could alter our points of our North and South Pole. They could be altered couple degrees, but it would happen a lot sooner than a couple of years. It would be a lot sooner because of the way things are gearing up. The sun has also affected this because it changes every 7 years, and we're gearing up for a big solar storm coming next year. A solar flare is a natural phenomenon that the sun produces every day, but the cycle of the sun changes every 7 years. Solar flare is nothing more than gas produced from the sun. It shoots it across the galaxy towards the Earth. It happens every day, not so often as much. You know, some days there's no activity, some days there's more. Well, back in 1886, we had the world's largest recorded in history event of a solar flare that took out a third of the nation's telegraphic poles, so they had no telegraphic communication. And how relevant is that to today's society, which relies so much on communications through any kind of computer, whatever, anything that's electronics could be affected if we were hit by the same exact type of solar flare activity that we were hit with back in the 1800s. It would be more devastation this time around than back then because there's more to get hurt. And NASA has proof that yes, the sun does have natural solar flares that happen every day, and that they can back up that, yeah, we might be on the course for one of the biggest solar storms in history, but they're not saying right now that it's devastating enough to wipe us out, but they are looking into it. Now, a well-known author and scientist, Lawrence Joseph, who's produced 2 books on Mayan calendar, end of days, apocalypse type stuff like that, his findings coincide with what might happen next year, December 21st, 2012, with the solar flare event and what NASA has said and what the Mayan calendar all talk about the end of times. And the thing that most people don't realize is the Mayan calendar does not end on December 21st, 2012. It's just the cycle of the winter solstice ends. And so I think a lot of people have been geared up with this fear that end of times are near, and so people are feeding off of that, but it might not all be accurate enough to actually happen, since the end of times really has to have several things happen in order for it to really unfold. You have the alignment of the Milky Way with the Earth and the Sun, you have solar flares, you have the big black hole that's in the middle of the Milky Way. Everything has to line up in order for catastrophic events to happen down here for all of us. But are we really going to know if that's going to happen or not? I don't know either. It's just we're all going to have to ride it out and see. I'd just like to recap on this from all my findings and information that how the Mayan calendar kind of lays out a blueprint of what could be or what will happen in 2012, December 21st, along with Lawrence Joseph's findings, NASA's findings. Anything is possible. It could be the end of times. And I would just like to let you know how I feel.